Hello there. Welcome to Season 2 of Outmaneuver, the podcast where we discuss how to outmaneuver your opponents. Jrod and his Dudeness join me, Faith, and we discuss Star Wars Unlimited. As we enter into the new year, we look back at the first year of the game and talk about what is coming up. Also, to end off the year, we had a massive giveaway for products from the first year of Star Wars Unlimited. Head to the community tab and check out our post to see if you have won. If you see your name listed, reach out to Jrod on our Discord server to claim your prize. Now, Jrod, what is your highlight from 2024?
For me, it's going to be definitely just starting this channel. It's not specifically Star Wars Unlimited related, but obviously this channel is all about Star Wars Unlimited, so I'm going to count it. This has been one of the coolest things. I've wanted to be a creator for a game of some sort for a good portion of my life, and to finally be able to say that we've worked out a small niche in the community of Star Wars Unlimited for ourselves. I would say that. So it's been a blast, hanging out with you guys and talking and getting to go to events and meeting people that, I recognize your voice. And, at some point I would like to do some face cam stuff, maybe in the future here, we can kind of work that out so people can actually see us and be like, oh, I know you, I recognize you. And that's a little bit easier than I know your voice, because that's a little harder, I feel like, I guess Dudeness has a very distinct voice, so I'm sure it's pretty easy for him, but I think some other people might be a little bit harder. But yes, this channel is what I would say is my number one favorite thing from last year.
I will say, I got to agree with you. It's been really cool to go to events and people to be like, hey, I recognize your voice, and people to know who I am. Not that I need that validation in my life to whatever, but it's more of just, it's really neat to have that kind of impact that people, recognize you, clearly listen, watch the show, and people, recognize the voice to want to say hi, which has been really cool to meet you all. So thank you for doing so, reaching out when you do recognize the voices. I will say, though, my highlight from actually playing the game, I would say, is probably winning my store showdown. It was really cool to obviously win, but I think to win in the fashion that I did, which was right at the end of set 1. I played my Krennic deck that I love, and it was just great to see all that effort and time and work that I put in to be realized, because I was really confident with my deck, with my abilities, knowing the lines against other decks. And so it allowed me to go 16-0 throughout the tournament in games, basically won every match, because I just had that practice. So it was really nice to see that pay off.
I definitely appreciate all the support we've gotten from everyone who's listening and everything like that, because I definitely would not have started this channel without you guys initially pushing to do it, because that's not something I would ever do. But I'm definitely glad that we did do it, and I look forward to more years in the future for sure. As far as Star Wars, though, my favorite moment was just getting top 8 at the PQ.
Are you sure?
Yeah. It was my favorite and then least favorite simultaneously. Because making the top 8 was great. Losing how I lost was not great. But, it proved that I am an above average player. And so that felt good to be validated a little bit like that. Now, that being said, going into the second PQ coming up here in a few weeks, I am much less confident in my ability to take this one down, because I've ignored the set 3 meta almost entirely.
You are new to the channel. I would say check out chapter 36, Encouraging Leadership, and you can get some more insight into what Dudeness is talking about.
Yeah, I think the three of us played the game so heavily in set 1 that for the rest of the year, we kind of faded a bit for competitive. And burnout's a real thing. I know other channels, people have said the same thing with burnout with the game. And that just comes from grinding it too much. And some people can just grind it all day, every day and play it. And that's amazing. But, I think you have to have some nice balance in life and take breaks at time. Admittedly, I haven't really prepared for any PQs. I did sign up for a couple, and I don't know if I'm going to be attending any. I might end up just deciding to back out of them personally, because I haven't had the time or willingness to, put a lot of effort into Star Wars Unlimited recently. Not because I'm not loving the game. I still go to my weeklies and play. I did win a box with my Palpatine blue deck, which was super awesome. So I'm having fun playing the game. I'm loving some Twin Suns action. I'm still enjoying the game, but just in a lot more casual manner, which is very weird for me as the competitive person, self-labeled on the podcast here, to be okay with not just trying to crush everyone all the time and just how can I have the most fun, right? I don't know if it's just me getting older or, if I don't have the time that I know is necessary to dedicate, as Faith had mentioned and Dudeness had mentioned in their successful set 1 events. I guess technically Dudeness was set 2, but those time frames when they had success in those areas, they played a lot, they were testing, they knew lines, they knew all this stuff. And it goes into there's a lot that goes into being a top competitive player week in and week out and going to different events and continuing to do well. So that's one thing that I think people don't understand is like, they're like, well, what's the best deck? It's like, it's not about the deck. It's about the deck that you know the best. You will have the best success. Now, will there be times where you'll bring a deck and someone will play a deck that counters you? Absolutely. But I promise you, if you play a deck that you've played inside and out and you know the matchups from the meta, not just like you playing against your friends and they're playing their bad decks. Are you playing against people that are playing good decks well is how you properly test your deck, whatever that may be, whether it's another meta deck or it's an off meta deck. Those are some recommendations that I would give for some people who are trying to break in and be more competitive, which is one reason why I haven't been as competitive recently. I haven't had the time.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, this is a game, and I love. We all mentioned we all love to win. However, we also, in being a game, being a passion, being something that we're not directly paid for, we all like having fun. And you could have fun by winning. I'm not saying that can't be, but know what you're having fun with. And yeah, if that means playing more at a more casual level and you're having fun with that, great. If it means grinding and you're having fun with that, great. Those are both awesome ways to enjoy the game, enjoy the hobby.
I do want to reiterate what Jrod said. Experience is probably the most important factor in becoming a good player. Practice, practice, practice.
100%. Especially and try to find better players that are beating you consistently and try to get as many games in against them. And then after you play them, ask them questions. Hey, what do you think I did wrong there? You know what I mean? Just try to talk to people. Most people are pretty friendly and open if you're friendly and open back to them. So that's how I've always treated people and tried to, gather knowledge from people who are better than me by just being friendly and just asking them questions here or there. Not being annoying about it and asking them 1,000,005 questions, but one or two, thanks for the advice. Great playing you. Thanks. Have a great day. And, kind of just move on like that,
And I would say it's also okay to cheer for people from your locals at an event. I think that's also a good thing. Person you've been testing with, a person that you've been playing with, or that's just friendly to you. If you see them win, cheering for them, even if it's just on the inside, can be a great thing. Keep that good energy going.
Yes.
So as we kind of looked back on 2024, let's now look a little bit ahead to 2025. Jrod, what is something you are hoping for in 2025 from the game?
I have had a lot of fun with Palpatine and his flipping mechanic. And we have some titles of future sets that I think could fit, as well as when Palpatine was released, FFG put in the post the first of his kind, which signals to me that we could potentially, I don't know anything, I'm not just because I don't have any secret info, I am hoping that we get some other leaders that are similar to that have maybe flipped different ways or whatever, to really change how we think of leaders as a whole, because right now they're just deploying on the ground or they're attaching to a space unit, right? Because we've seen a couple of those already. So that's really it. What else could there be? Because there's so much more with the leaders that we can have one that doesn't flip and that doesn't deploy. What is that? How powerful does that leader have to be, right? There's so much design space with that leader mechanic that we haven't even scratched the surface of. So for me, it's just how crazy can they make leader abilities or leader design space? How crazy can they make that?
I got a pretty crazy idea. What if it deployed at 5 as a 4/7?
Okay, all right.
You're crazy. You're too crazy.
What about you, Dudeness? What are you looking forward to? Or what do you want to see in 2025?
As we jump ahead to set 4 is what I'm most looking forward to. I'm still holding out premium copium that we're going to actually see a leader that deploys into space, not onto a vehicle to get confiscated in space. So there's still a chance, there's still a hope. That's what I've wanted since before set 1 was even released. And if it's not coming in this set, I'll be extremely sad boy.
Wait, did this guy just start off the perfect way, and then he said he wants to jump into the new year when set 4 involves jumping? I don't know. That seems like a miss.
Huge miss.
Well,
yeah, I just want to see space leaders. That's all I want. And if we're not getting them in this, we're probably not getting them anytime soon.
Probably. But I did, clearly Dudeness didn't watch my interview with MJ, however, because I asked them that question, and more or less, your chances are probably less than 1%.
Yeah.
If I'm being flat out honest. Unfortunately, not to damper your parade in the new year, but I don't think we're going to see that for at least a little bit.
If you haven't seen Jrod's award-winning interview with MJ, check out the Jump to Lightspeed lead design interview in our previous videos.
All the shameless plugs today. Look at us. New year, new plugs, baby.
Which award was that again? Which
it was a self-given award. I gave it to myself.
Most curious.
Yeah.
And for myself, I gotta say, looking forward to 2025, I would be pretty sad if we do not have Qui-Gon Jinn in a capacity of a card in 2025. With the sets that we know of, he should be there. He should have been there in set 3.
Mm-hmm.
We will allow a pass. I don't see him in set 4. There is, I guess, a side potential story. Unlikely. But I want to see my boy Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah, I mean, I am also a big Qui-Gon, not as big as Faith, but I also love Qui-Gon. He's one of my favorite characters as well in Star Wars. He's up there. So I'm also on the Qui-Gon bandwagon. Although I will say, if that Ahsoka is a leader from set 4 that we saw the art from, I definitely want whatever showcase that is from that one. Because set 3's art was not my favorite, so I passed on that one. But
so we kind of have an idea now of where we've been and where we want to go. So that's going to be kind of our bookends of like what our time so far has been. As Jrod mentioned, we are very thankful to have been a channel for you guys for a year. So what has been your guys' favorite video that we've done this year so far?
Or episode of the podcast.
Yep.
I mean, I liked my Kylo deck tech. Because, like, gotta go fast.
I think my favorite video of ours was... Oh, I can't remember the name of it now. It was the first one we did where, like, it wasn't like a gameplay, and it was really teaching people the fundamentals of the game. What was it? It was... I think it was on resourcing. Yes.
Yeah.
It was tips for better resourcing. That was one of my favorites, and Curly is sitting at 8,000. It's not even our highest one, but it's just one of my... Like, I really enjoyed that one and felt that it really helped many new players to the game understand like the ins and outs of resourcing. And if you're a new player listening to this, I would recommend hopping on our YouTube channel and checking that out. It is a bit older. It's from March 13th. However, I think the fundamentals of that video still stand today. Obviously, Smuggle changes a couple of things to that, but for the most part, understanding what you're looking for and the basics on that is definitely a good video to check out.
My favorite video, and this is kind of one of my highlights this is also a highlight for me, but I will say it was a really cool experience receiving product from FFG. I want to thank FFG and GameGenic for giving us our boxes that we opened. It was a really cool experience for me personally, particularly in the last set for Twilight of the Republic, to open packs with cards that we didn't know were inside. In particularly opening Cad Bane, a legendary, that was like kind of like, oh my gosh, I don't know what this card does. We didn't know it existed. So that was a really cool experience. And so for me, that whole video was very cool as well.
Very good point, because what you experienced is a very rare experience in the current TCG world, right? Like,
it's so rare that he's the only content creator that can even say that, because we were the only ones. Oh, I guess technically one other person pulled CAD. Technically, so there's 2 people on the planet that have opened a Cad Bane before, other than FFG staff people who knew about the card. But like anyone outside FFG, like you and one other person knew about it early.
Yeah, and like the other you're opening a pack, so a pack could have legendaries we already knew, and there was one other legendary that was unspoiled at the time, and so the fact that it was like between getting a Cad Bane or Planetary Invasion and I got the Cad Bane, there's a difference there.
Yeah. Difference of about $20. And just in case you're not aware, Cad Bane's about $20. So that should tell you. I have to tell you where planetary invasion lands.
Oh man, that's a good point.
But yeah, I mean, that's. I'm also going to shout out FFG and my buddy Xander, who I've now met multiple times at both PAX events that I went to, and getting to sit down with the team MJ with the interview. Thank you to them. I believe it's Ryan. I'm spacing on names now. Ryan, who's also the Rules Admiral. And then the other Ryan, who's new, that hasn't been announced yet, but he's also a new member of the staff as well that we'll get to meet at some point. And Corey, of course. So it was great to hang out with all of them and get to meet them. And honestly, if you're going to an event, like, they love talking to people, especially Xander, not to throw more people at Xander, because everyone goes over to say hi to Xander, but like just go over and say hi quickly. Like they love that stuff. They're talking about it. So, hi, quick little conversation and then move on is I think more than okay with them, and they love it. And they're very kind human beings and a great team to be partnered with. And we look forward to a second year.
So if you're new to the channel, you may not know, but I can pretty confidently say each of us have our own favorite leaders. I would say Jrod, it's New Palpatine 2, Dudeness, it's Kylo, and for me, it's Director Krennic.
Oh.
I don't think there's any objections there. But so those are our favorite leaders, but what are our favorite non-leader, non-base card so in your deck basically that we've got from set 1?
From
set
year
1 to set 3, yes, year 1.
So year 1. Dudeness, you go first.
Okay, I was not prepared for this.
Neither was I.
My favorite card from the first year. That's a good question.
Non-leader.
Non-leader, non-base.
Come on, what aggression card do you like? Let's go.
Yeah, right.
It's probably just aggression, honestly.
I mean, honestly though, like, I'm just gonna say A-Wing.
Okay.
It's everything I'd ever wanted in a card. It's aggro, it's space. That's it. That's all I need, right? I mean, I'm a very simple boy, so.
Would you rather have, what would be better, A-Wing or a 3/1 in space for 2?
A-Wing.
It would have to be like a 4/1.
Yeah, there's too many pings going around right now. 1 health feels bad, sort of.
Yeah. I just know you always want that 3-cost ship.
I do.
The 3 attack ship, sorry.
Ideally, like I've been speculating, what does a TIE fighter look like when you add another aspect on it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's what I want. I want TIE fighter 1-drop in aggression. What does that card look like? I want it. Whatever it is, I want it.
What if I told you already had one?
What is it?
Kylo's TIE silencer.
Well, no, but it costs 2 though.
Oh, sure. You're saying 1. I got you.
A 1-drop that has an extra aspect on it.
Oh, we have that too. It's in yellow. It's the 2/3 that has a bounty.
Yeah.
No. It's a 2/3 that has a bounty on it that when your opponent defeats it. That one's seen a bunch of play, so I mean that's.
Yeah, I know. I can see something like a 2/1 with raid 1, right? Like, I just want a straight 2/1 body. Now, give it an extra aspect. What does that look like actually?
What if it's 2/2 raid 1?
Well, yeah, 2/2 raid 1 would be even better. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
raid 1.
The concept of adding an extra aspect to get raid 1 doesn't seem unreasonable of an ask.
Yeah.
Now,
I put more like me and I'm blanking on the main Danny's. Me and Danny shared the same love for space 1-drops.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my. I want more. Give me more.
Yeah, that's fair. So A-Wing, and that shows people at home that you don't have to be a high rarity. You don't have to have a bunch of fancy text. Sometimes just a nice stat line of a 1/3 with a simple ability of just raid 2 can be enough to be a favorite card.
Just go face.
Jrod, what about yourself?
Well, falling in line with Dudeness picking a very simple and cheap and wonderful card, I'm going to go with Luke Skywalker. He's just a card that does everything I want. Puts a big body on the board. It defeats a unit when it comes in most of the time. And if I'm behind, it can bring me back with having a life swing differential for 9. Obviously, dealing 6 on the attack and then healing myself for 3. As a control player, that card is just perfect. I don't think there's That card is probably going to be one of the best cards in the game for a while. I hope. I hope the power creep doesn't change too much.
I was going to say, I hope it does get power crept here in year 2. Good lord.
No, what do you mean? I see. To me, I think games are balanced when they can keep other things on a similar power level. You know what I mean? And that's how games stay balanced. Because if you try to creep too much, then that's when we have a problem, right? Like if we print like Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker or something like, or Jedi Master Luke Skywalker, right? And then you get to that level and it's like, oh, well, he's actually a 7 cost 10/10 that does -12 to a unit and defeats your opponent. Like, sick, that card's insane. Like, let me just play that card instead of this other Luke Skywalker. You know, it's like, that's not fun, right? But like adding in other cards that have similar power level but do different things, I think makes the game more fun and more interesting. But whereas like, hey, is Luke Skywalker now the best thing for control? Is there now a new best thing for control? But it's a different type of card. You know what I mean?
We can almost guarantee there will not be a Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight that costs 10 and is a 7/7, whatever you said, because Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight already exists. That is the original. That's the one you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, he cost 7, by the way. It was a 10/10.
He's got they've got subtitles. This game already has rules regarding subtitles, and you chose the one subtitle that was already taken.
I realized that after I said it, which is why I changed to Jedi Master Luke Skywalker. Thank you very much. I corrected myself before you could correct me, good sir.
It's okay. Everyone in the chat has already corrected you. You guys can all write in the comments there how Jrod is wrong.
You only get one. That's it. That's one for the whole year. So use it wisely.
So
what's yours, Faith?
Yeah, we've got A-Wing on one side, Jedi Knight on the Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight on the other. I mean, I'm looking around at it as I'm thinking about this question. It's hard for me to pick one.
If you picked a 1/4, I'm gonna lose my mind.
I that's the thing. How is it not a 1/4 for me? That is
Fair.
my card. Like, like if you're looking for like the most powerful card, one of the most powerful cards, like an Overwhelming Barrage, or counter to Luke Vader. Those are both really cool, interesting cards, but I think I've got a vibe out.
No. I
am a Johnny, and as a Johnny, I need to pick a card that I am using that maybe no one else is using, and it is hard for me to pick between my two favorite 1/4s. For those that know me, know the way I like to play this game, it is between Regional Governor and Admiral Piet. Both of them just like embody what I want to do.
I am much more okay with one of those than the one I thought you were going to say.
Okay.
Those two are fine.
Scoutback Pursuer?
Yeah.
If it was set 1, that would be my answer. But a Regional Governor, a card that I love to...
Wait, all those are from set 1?
Yes.
So then how would set 1 change anything?
Because I still play Regional Governor and Piet in my decks, and I don't play with Scoutback Pursuer.
Because it was bad. Thank you. Okay, good.
It wasn't bad. It was fine in set 1 meta.
But fine with that one.
Yeah. Regional Governor is a card that I played in my main board. I love the idea. I mean, sometimes you're guessing, but you're making an educated guess. And I think there's a certain like outplay element that's very interesting with the card. Being able to like, okay, I think either A, I know I'm reading the board state and this is the card that I think will damage me the most, so I need to play this. Or just say, okay, this is the card that I don't want you to play, because I need you not to play it right now. Either one of those situations, I think is so fun with Regional Governor in your main board. You have to know the game. You have to kind of understand the situation. But then with a Piet, I love being able to like play a Piet, and it's just this 1/4. But a lot of times your opponent's like, I need to get rid of that right now, or else I don't know how I'm going to be punished. And so I think that's a really fun like way to play a game. Both of them are nice with Krennic, so it works out with the leader that I like. But I'm going to choose 2, and those are my 2 that I'm going to choose.
Yeah, it is sneaky, because if you leave that guy alone, like, you are going to regret it. And anybody who includes that card in their deck is planning to use his ability.
Yeah.
So for me personally, he is kill on sight. I don't even care. Just get him out of here. He's done.
What if I told you, Dudeness, there was a combo in the game where you could play Piet and a 6+ cost card the same action?
I'm listening.
Well, my friend, come venture over to my double green Palpatine list, where we're playing Endless Legion, so that way we can play Piet and a bunch of sandworms and kill our opponent in one action.
This man said endless legions, bro.
Are you not entertained? We may or may not have a deck list out on that at some point. Whenever I get around to it, I've just been very busy and lazy, so I haven't put that out, but it's definitely on the list.
How many copies of endless legions are in this?
It would have to be 3. That's how you win the game. The whole point of a deck is to kill your opponent from 0 to 30 in a single action. So you need that card.
Like,
maybe you could do 2. Maybe. But the problem is you're playing Masamita, who only draws units. So that means you're going to pass up some of those. So you have to have 3.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I was going to say, since it's so late, you only need 1.
Right.
Be greedy and do 2, but yeah, 3 is probably better.
I hope you also run tech so you can use your resource endless legions.
Yeah, let me pay 16 for that. Let me definitely get the 16 resources because 14 wasn't hard enough.
Easiest game.
There's one thing that I need to do next year. I've been to 2 different PAX events where the team was there, and I was fortunate enough to be able to draft set 1 with Danny and Jeremy. Jeremy no longer being with the FFG staff. And then I went to Unplug this year, and I was able to draft with MJ and Ryan and Corey. So there is a single developer and one other human being that I need to draft with, and that is Tyler and Xander. I need to complete a draft with at some point. So that is on my list for this year to knock that out so I can then say I have drafted with most of the FFG staff. Do you guys have anything that you are wishing for or hoping for next year that is like Star Wars, but not like about a card or a set, but like something that you want to do within the game?
I'll win Worlds, win Galactic Championship.
Dig that.
I would like to just go to Worlds. Is what I kind of want to do for the game. I want to make my way to Worlds just to experience that because I've never experienced anything like that for a card game before.
Well, if any of our fans are very generous and want to help Dudeness out with that, slide into his DMs.
But I think there is something actually that's worth talking about in that a little bit, in that if you are not aware, FFG has talked about how they want this to be more than just the championship. Like, it will be that. Mm-hmm. Like, we are going to find out who is going to be the winner of Star Wars Unlimited for this year. But they've talked about how they want to have side events, how they're going to have the first, I thought it was either Sector or the first planetary. I thought it was Sector or Regional at the Galactic Championship. But there's also going to be casual drafts, like drafts and casual pods and just hanging out. And it's going to be more than just that championship. So I think even just being there for that experience will be pretty neat.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully they'll do stuff like they've done in the past for Destiny, like prize wall stuff. All these side events, you can still win cool swag from the prize wall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do know the prize wall will be back at some point. It hasn't been officially announced.
Spoiler alert.
I mean, it's like they're not going to not do. Like, every game is a prize wall. It's not really like a. That's one thing that I'm pretty confident in saying that like there's definitely going to be a prize wall. Like, I would also love to see like some of the artists of the cards there so we can get cards signed. You know what I mean? Or like showcases, stuff like that. Like, I think that would be super awesome and super cool because I know people already kind of go out of their way. Or if they had like the people who play the characters, like if like Rosario Dawson in there, she can sign some stuff. I don't know if they got that much pull, but that would be super awesome as well. And I know the only thing Xander could tell me at PAX was that he was super excited to talk about it. And like, when I tell you that Xander's always a very excited person and he's always very like upbeat and positive. But when I tell you, when I asked him about Worlds and he was like, Jrod, I wish I could tell you more, but I can't. However, I cannot wait. And his eyes got like so wide. They were like, look at me. I'm the captain now. Look at me. This is going to be dope. Go to Worlds. Like that was what that said to me. So I did just happen to get engaged and we are looking to buy a house, but I'm going to try to still see if I can figure out a way to get to Worlds because I also want to get to Worlds and go experience the first Worlds of Star Wars Unlimited. Because I actually did not get to go to attend for Star Wars Destiny, even though I won a seat.
Well, thanks you guys so much for joining us as we look back at 2024 and we looked ahead to 2025. You can expect us to still be here with our podcasts and with deck techs and tier lists coming up and some more stuff we have looking forward to 2025 with. So thank you for joining us on this journey and for continuing with us as well. Just a reminder, make sure you check out that tab to see if you're a winner. And if so, again, please slide into Jrod's DMs.
Slytherin.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time on Outmaneuver.
Yep. Cheers, y'all.